No, not you. Not you. No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. Go ahead. Quiet. Quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
Are you going to include the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional
Well, I
Hispanic
would. I
Caucus?
tell you what. Do you want to set up the meeting? Do you want to set up the meeting?
No.
Are they friends of yours?
Just a reporter.
No, set up the meeting.
I know some of them, but I'm sure
Let's
they're
go. Set up
watching
a
right
meeting. I would love to meet with the Black Caucus. I think it's good.
And we had the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake that you've ever seen. And President Xi was enjoying it. And I was given the message from the generals that the ships are locked and loaded. Look, he's a showboat. He's a grandstander. The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that.
And I love all people, rich or poor. But in those particular positions, I just don't want a poor person. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? This is a long time ago. Sold his company for a tremendous amount of money. And he went out and bought a big yacht. And he had a very interesting life. I won't go any more than that because you're Boy Scouts, so I'm not going to tell you what. Should I tell you? Should I tell you? Oh, you're Boy Scout. You know life. You know life. North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
We don't deserve him.
Wonder how much fire and fury we get on November 6th here.
Well, depending on how the election goes, if you live in a blue city, probably a whole lot of fire and fury. And if you live in a red part of the country and it goes the other way, probably nothing is going to change. Like,
well, maybe some bonfires, maybe some beers by the bonfires. But, other than that.
Yeah, that'll be about it.
Yeah. Speaking of bonfires, tonight I'll be having a bonfire and we'll be doing a night show. We're going to play games. Jay is going to be leading the charge. We're doing a game night tonight, so everybody be ready to join in on that.
I will hop on when I get home, but I'm busy tonight.
So at least a decent chance we'll still be going. We usually run for about 3 hours or so with the night shows, whether we mean to or not.
If everybody just passes out and you just leave it running.
Sometimes that does happen.
So what's in the news lately, gentlemen? Anything
So
fun?
All election dumbassery. Although,
hey, Alex Jones is predicting that the left is gonna murder everybody on the right.
they don't have the
Tuesday
balls
for him, though.
They don't have the balls for that, literally or figuratively.
Yeah,
there's
especially
a lot of fun stuff going around with the two candidates.
A wet raccoon doesn't have $7 billion fucking dollars in the bank.
Excuse me. My turn.
You said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. And your father was never considered smart. He was never considered a good senator. He was only a good vice president because he understood how to kiss Barack Obama's ass.
Do you mind? I would like you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person.
Don't be rude. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
You call women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs,
Only Rosie.
animals. Your Twitter account.
Only
has
Rosie
several-
O'Donnell.
just good that someone
That's my
with the
favorite.
temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
His visceral response to attack people on their appearance, short, tall, fat, ugly. My goodness, that happened in junior high. Are we not way above that? Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
See that one like I kind of feel bad because like Rand I really like Rand, but like that was just such an unforced error. Like he should have known what he was going into.
Yeah, you can't go up against that, like saying stuff like that. You just can't. But he did. I think Rand did get a lot of stuff pushed through with Trump. So I think he made up for that later.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like they're on good terms now. But it was funny at the time though, because I was sitting there, I was like, man, I like Rand Paul, but like
at that point, I was only going to vote for Rand Paul. Like during that time of the election, like he was my choice.
It was between him and Carson for me, like at that point, and then I think I finally like whenever like me and my brother talked about it is whenever like I was just like, okay, it's Trump or bust. Like that's when he finally got me on board.
No, unfortunately, I went the libertarian route and got stuck in that for a couple of years. It's the biggest shame of my life.
I was big on Carson for the Republican candidate in 2016. Not so much because I didn't like Rand Paul as a candidate, but I think there are certain there are people that have been floating like Thomas Massey for agriculture.
He would not
for Secretary of Agriculture. If Trump wins again, I'm like, no. Like, yes, I love
where he is.
I love that pick, but he needs to be right where he is in the House, on the House floor, doing what he's doing. Like same, and I feel the same about Rand Paul. So that was why I wasn't on the Rand Paul bus in 2016. Not because I didn't think Rand Paul was a good candidate, but because I think certain politicians play a more significant role where they are, and everybody's like, "Oh, where do we move this person to next? What's their next big step?" I'm like, why do they need to make a next big step? Like, there need to be people in certain places doing certain things to keep things moving in the right direction. If you've got Thomas Massey making the speech on the floor that he made about the spending bill that got passed, like, you can show people his speech and people start to understand what the fuck is going on. Like,
the Tucker Carlson interview where he calls out the ADL.
Right. It's important to have good people in good positions. We don't need to be constantly just looking to, all right, how do we elevate this person to the next spot? It's like where I am in my job. I'm really good at what I do, and I can fix a lot of problems with other things by being in the position that I'm in. And there could be other positions that open up maybe once my social media misbehavior has finally kind of fallen off the record. There might be other stuff that opens up, but unless it's like a specific thing where I can be directly impactful in what we do in the day-to-day, I don't want promotion for the sake of promotion. And that's kind of how politics is. Like, a lot of times it's just like, all right, well, what's the next step for this person? It's like, why can't they just do something good right where they are?
I could see moving Rand Paul into a Fed spot, a bigger spot, but not Massey. You need to keep Massey where he's at.
Then you don't get like him talking, in the Senate floor. Like, I mean,
no, I understand that. I really do understand that. I just think he would. I would rather him.
And you don't get him grilling. You don't get him grilling federal agents like about their nonsense. And that
basically,
doesn't do
if you
a lot
have to
of good.
pick one of the two,
people see it.
Like, if you have to pick one of the two, pick him, not Massey. I think Massey's more valuable on the House floor than gun to head, have to pick one of them. I'm picking him.
I mean, I guess that's the correct take, but they shouldn't. If the people who are in charge are intelligent, they're not making it a situation where either of them are being picked. They understand the dynamic of power and how you best utilize power. And the best way to utilize power is to put the right people in the right positions where that you can be influential.
And the position that Kamala Harris didn't need to be in was doing the CNN interview.
Oh my gosh.
Something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that
Probably worked very hard.
well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer.
God, she's a fucking
Word
retard.
salad.
Well, then they're calling this a hostile interview now. Like they're saying, and it wasn't even an interview; it was a fucking town hall. Like there were people asking questions, and then Anderson Cooper is also asking her questions and trying to get her to answer the questions that are being asked of her. Like they're calling this a hostile interview.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing
So
to a
come
bill
on.
that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan
Wow, Anderson Cooper actually doing journalism.
further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on it? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
She's so.
Does she not realize she's in charge now? Does she not realize that she's in charge?
You're so bad at this. Like, it's
Well,
impressively
she's not
bad.
earmarking the fund. Like, she's not the one like marking the funds because like that's the Congress.
Yeah, but if she really wanted that, she would push for it. She could push for it.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, like, this is where I believe Jason from 2-Bit or whatever he's calling himself now, is like Trump's being installed because now you have CNN going after her.
I still doubt that. Like, I think what they're doing is they're bracing for the inevitable that he could win. I think that's the kind of avenue they're going.
Although I am tempted to put a couple $100 down on Kamala winning because I think the return on that would be amazing.
I mean, still, honestly, your return on betting on Trump is still decent. I mean, it's not like he's a 70-30 split anymore. But,
I don't know. I don't know how betting works. I'm not a bettor.
You could.
You guys would gamble on something so serious as this?
I mean, whenever
The
you
most
got a shit
important
show
election
like
of our
this,
lifetime.
when you got a shit show like this running on one side of the ticket, and
Of
then
course
just
you
the
get
absolute
that's
hilarity
exactly when you have to gamble on it, Dag. That's exactly when you have to gamble.
and then the absolute hilarity of Trump on the other side, like, yeah, this is the best possible time to gamble on this.
What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect. So let's start there. Perhaps a weakness, I think that my decision-making process, but I actually think it's the strength, is I really do value, my team will tell you, I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires. So I may not be quick to have
That's 'cause she can't make a
answer as soon
decision.
as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. I mean, I've made many mistakes. You know, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I am, and
she never ever answers this question. It's like,
well, she did
got asked some iteration of this question 3 separate times, and this is like a compilation of her just mumbling and stammering over and not answering the question. It's like amazing.
Well, like she did what you're not supposed to do. Like honestly, like you're supposed to be somewhat honest. Like she did what, like if you go to a job interview and someone tells you, like, you know, ask you what's your greatest weakness or whatever, and then you just say, oh, you know, I'm just I'm just so thorough, and you know you know, sometimes that it causes me problems, you know, whatever. But I'm just trying to make sure that I do everything perfectly, and that's my flaw, you know. So like you're trying to like spin it as a strength or whatever. Like, no, like you need to just be like somewhat honest. So like, yeah, well, you know, I'd say this is where, you know, I you know, struggle, but you know, don't like play it up. Don't be like, oh, I'm such a horrible employee, but like, yeah, this is I could probably do better at this, you know.
I care
That's
too much.
Yeah.
It's my one weakness.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you notice, like she actually, the one answer she gave was, I can't make a decision.
Yeah.
That was the answer. Like, she's incapable of making a decision.
she made one big mistake. One big mistake there in that interview. She said, "Well, you could ask my staff. What staff are we asking? They've all left."
Yeah, they asked him the staff that quit 4 times. You know, 4 staffs ago.
in terms of their taxes. Right now, Anderson, you know, the document, it is well documented. Some of the richest people in our country have gotten away with a 0 tax rate.
But if you're earning $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 under your plan, there's a good chance your taxes go up.
We can't have this conversation without knowing it's a very complicated situation, right? If you're talking about a small business owner, I'm going to cut taxes for small businesses, right? Because I know that they need the overhead, the money that they need for overhead to actually benefit the growth of their business, which benefits our economy as a whole.
Her tax plan is, it's really complicated. We can't talk about it, but yeah, if you're making money, then I'm going to cut your taxes unless you're making too much money, in which case I'm going to raise your taxes. But it depends on how much is too much and what you do, in which case I might lower your taxes, but I also might raise your taxes, but I don't.
And I'm also going to expand the child tax credit, but also I'm not going to, like, I forget, there was something else with it too. But didn't she basically do something that would have, like, it's almost like invalidating the child tax credit? I mean,
yeah. Like Kamala Harris, all of her policy positions are very two-faced.
She's two-faced, the politician, like that. That's what she.
That's definitely what she is.
She's got the laugh to go for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, she laughed a lot.
What was
during
Harvey
like I
Dent's
said,
job? Two-Face. What was his job? He was like was he a politician or was he a DA or something?
DA.
He was a DA.
They're kind of politicians.
Yeah.
Yep. Two-Face was the DA.
Oh, the fifth.
I was like, man,
So
it'd
many
be
levels.
perfect. But he's like, yeah, like a straight up politician. His name was Two-Face, right?
That fits on so many levels, people.
Carlos mentions this. So Trump actually, I can't find. Do you have the article or whatever about Trump floating that he might not might remove the national income tax?
Yeah. Okay. So
Does that make him a libertarian now?
Well, he wants
Sorry,
to.
Dag.
He said what he said is he wanted to just fund the government with tariffs, which I mean,
I think
we
I
were
got it.
doing before.
All this extra revenue, what will be bringing into the country?
Ah, fuck. Sorry.
All this
Doing it
extra
live.
what will be bringing into the country. So, do you believe at some point in time we can find a way once the country's back on its feet and getting enough revenue and paid off our debt? Do you think it's possible to find a way to eliminate federal taxes?
There is a way.
And how do you feel about
in the old days when we were smart, a smart country, in the 1890s and all, this is when the country was relatively the richest it ever was. It had all tariffs. It didn't have an income tax.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we have income taxes, and we have people that are dying. They're paying tax, and they don't have the money to pay the tax. No, in the old days, 1890, 1880, we had so much money. They had to set up committees, blue ribbon committees, how to spend our wealth. We had no idea how to spend it with so much money. Then we went to the income tax system, and the rest is sort of history. But no, there is a way. I mean, if what I'm planning comes out, it's a great question, by the way.
Everyone could
You're
attain
a
the
pretty
American
sophisticated cat, you know.
Everyone could attain the American dream if it wasn't for the high cost, that the burden of high taxes, and we're taxed at every step of the way.
Yeah.
When we make it, when
And
we spend
regulations. And regulations. So I cut more regulations in 4 years than any other president by 4 times. Yeah, let's go. You were going to ask one question.
Yeah, so he's floating, doing away with income taxes entirely and going to strict tariff system, which this is a topic that gets the libertarians all up in a tizzy because they can't decide which they hate more, tariffs or income tax. So then you
yeah, they hate both. Well, so Carlos, like the short of it is that tariffs, if you were to look at it like comparatively, what tariffs are, just whenever we import goods, there's a tax on those imported goods. That's how that functions, and you can make a lot more money from the taxing of those imported goods, especially if you start manufacturing more of your stuff in your own country.
Right. That's one of the things is that in turn needs to turn into manufacturing coming back to the States. So yes, in the short term, that has the potential to drive costs up because the sellers on the other end are going to offset some of the pricing that they're taking because of the tariffs into raising costs to the consumer. But if you do away with the income tax, how much do you pay in taxes annually, Carlos? I mean, like Stephanie and I combined for somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 a year that comes straight off of our income and goes straight to taxes. So like if we do away with income tax, then you get all that money back in your pocket. So number one, you can afford the price offsetting that's happening. And number two, what that does is because it's adding these extra costs and everything on the other end, now they start bringing manufacturing back to the States so that they don't have to deal with the import costs or the tariffs.
That's the part everybody misses, is that it brings all that stuff back to the U.S. So you have all your drug
there's some things that wouldn't come back, and you just have to deal with that. But there's a lot of stuff that manufacturing left the U.S. because they could pay, Chinese 6-year-olds 2 cents an hour to do the same thing. So,
hey, how do you think you get those iPhones made? You need those little fingers.
Have you ever tried to take apart a PlayStation controller or something and put the?
Yeah, it's impossible. You need to have little slave fingers to make those.
But
I took apart well, my son's Switch controller, and yeah, it's kind of hard, but like they do make special screwdrivers and stuff that make it a lot easier. So that helped trying to repair it.
Yeah, yes, of course, I could go off on a huge tangent about why I don't like tariffs.
Oh, let's hear it. I want to hear it. I really do. I'm dead serious.
Well, because it's still, it's still like a form of taxation, and it does still, raise prices, and I believe in like markets. So like where things are better made, like that's where they should be made, be it price or quality or whatever. People have the option. I don't like that increased regulations are what drove so much stuff overseas. I think that's we're there. But like if I had to choose, get rid of the income tax, but they increased tariffs, like of course I'd choose that, because if nothing else, anything that's like an increased cost for the most part is relatively avoidable by choice. Whereas income tax, they just take shit off of what you make. But it's like, okay, well now I have a choice of, do I want to purchase things that come from overseas and have tariffs? And although I still might not like it, you know what I mean? Like you do have more of an, like Justin said, with how much you pay in taxes versus how much more would products go up, you'll probably end up saving a lot of money, and then if you make choices that enforce that, or enhance that, then of course you can bring that down quite a bit. Something that would have to come with them changing from income tax to like tariff would have to be like reduced spending,
Oh yeah.
Because like, but I'm not saying like as like you guys have to, like, it would force them to have to do that, because again, they're not going to be able to just take as much money as they fucking want, and if they try to tariff one particular item too much, the market will ideally find a workaround. So I definitely think, given that choice, oh hell yeah, get rid of income tax and bring up tariffs, and then we can work on that, But yeah, I think that's really
so.
better.
Carlos, this is a misunderstanding. The country exporting it doesn't pay. Correct. The U.S. doesn't have jurisdiction to tax another country. Correct. That's not the way a tariff works. The tariff is effectively a tax on the companies that are sending it in, not the countries. The countries are irrelevant to this. Yeah, it's about the companies. It's about the actual items that are coming in, not countries that are involved.
The American companies, which are taking foreign manufactured goods and bringing them over here and claiming them as American made or whatever, or trying to use that and sell their products here, it gives them an incentive to produce it in America. Like if they produce iPhones in America, then they don't have those tariffs. And but if they want to continue manufacturing over there, they have to pay that tax in the form of tariffs. But that's
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of items that you and I don't want to pay American-made prices for. I mean, bottom line, you know what I mean? It would be insane. And of course, with items being technologically advanced, shit sourced from 6 different continents, almost everything you fucking buy one way or another with the ingredients that go into making it. So there's it's not all great, but it would give you the option to make choices. And I mean, shit, I'd probably still buy an Asian-made smartphone, because God only knows what an American-made one would cost. But who knows? I highly doubt this will happen anyhow. So
yeah,
I doubt it, because the IRS will put a hit out on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because he sort of. All he really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but all I heard there was he said, "Oh, back in the 1890s, things were better because of the way it was." But I didn't hear him say, "I want to do that here now," or something like that. Or if I'm president, I'm going to work on doing that. He just sort of said, "Back when it was like that, I think things were better," and I think that was kind of it, unless I missed something.
Well, he did issue. There was another statement or something like that he I think it was
the
more.
Campaign
He
put
said,
out a statement.
He said he favors, doing tariffs instead of a national income tax. That's basically what it was. Now, I don't know if that what that means, but basically,
yeah, that's no sort of commitment or even particular idea of an action he's going to take. You know what I mean? Although, again, I mean, I kind of agree with what he was saying. Because I think really the income tax is the Federal Reserve, like, right? That's when all that shit happened. That was all at the same time. Yeah. And I mean, that's the worst thing, is the Federal Reserve and the printing of money. So even if they switch from income to the other thing, but we still keep doing that, like, you know, our money's still just fucking going in the shitter. So it's, you know, that's the thing that really needs to be attacked. But
yeah, but Congress gives them the right to print the money, and Congress gives them the ability to print the money. So you got to go after Congress first.
I don't know that Congress actually has done anything in the last 10 years. If we're being honest, like, when's the last time?
Yeah, but they
Congress
passed the continuing resolution is all they
When's
do.
the last time Congress did anything other than pass a spending bill to keep the government open for another 6 months?
Yeah, that's all they do is continuing resolutions. That's literally all they do. And they pass laws so that Nancy Pelosi can make another $1 billion on her stock trades.
Man, there was a guy who said he followed her stock trades, and he's already up like I don't know, it's a ridiculous amount. He's up like over 50K, like just this year. I don't know how he had enough money to but yeah, he just followed her trades, and he's following the public reports because they have to publicly report when they buy and sell stock. But and those are that's like a month behind.
Yeah, well,
Even
and
a
look
month
at
behind he's.
But look at all. I mean, you know that there's private trading going on too that they're not reporting. I mean, it's bullshit that they're reporting it.
Yeah, probably, you know, under their second cousin's son's name or some shit, you know, doing all sorts of trades or something, you know.
Well, that's how you get. That's how you get the cut for the big guy. You know, you do it through like people like Hunter Biden, and then you get the
10% of the big gal.
Yeah,
10% of them titties.
Well, that was that was a part of a. Didn't they have a? I don't know if the bill ever passed, but they were trying to get where if they had like their spouse or whatever to trading stocks like while they were in Congress or whatever, that they would have to disclose as well or something like that. And then there was another one that was like wanting to ban them. I don't like the idea of banning them like from buying and selling stock. I think that's kind of. I mean, I think they shouldn't be allowed to like buy stock in companies that they're going to affect with their policies, like if they're on a committee. But I mean, outside of that, I don't really care. Like I don't.
That one's tough though because it's so convoluted, man. I mean, it's so hard to judge will it or won't it. You know, it's.
Some of them are.
It almost seems impossible to not have a conflict of interest if you're a politician and doing anything. I mean, operating a business, stocks. You know, I mean, it's and I'm not saying that it's, especially like operating a business. It's like I'm not saying you should be allowed to do that, but it's really hard to make an argument that you couldn't be doing. I mean, even if what you're doing you believe in is not just for the enhancement of your business. I mean, almost nobody's going to make a policy that wouldn't help. And let's say real people like any of us were politicians by some weird stretch. Like what we would be doing, we would think would be good for everybody, including ourselves, right? So especially in the financial sense. So you don't want just career politicians that don't have any stake in the game, right? That aren't business owners or don't know how that world works. That's definitely not something you want. But it is hard to see how like everything isn't a conflict of interest. But yeah, when they're trading, millions of dollars worth of stocks and shit, and when politicians are, of course, like we all know, going into office worth X amount and coming out of office worth 10X amount with whatever they're fucking doing, it's like, okay, like, it's crooked as shit, and that isn't okay either. So, I don't know what the solution is. Maybe say, while you're in office, you can't trade stocks. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a temporary ban would be fine. You can't.
While in office, you cannot engage in any of this stuff. Your spouse can't. Like your family members can't. Sorry, this is like
you're a public servant, dude. Take the hit.
Right, you are a public servant, and this is the price you pay to do that. So you and anybody close to you, they're not allowed. And if we find out that there are people who are not your family members that have been doing this, then we're gonna put your ass in jail for fucking ever. Like, make it where remove any incentive for these people to do dirty, shady bullshit. And like, what's the line from Starship Troopers? Like the violence is the ultimate force. Like, use the threat of violence to ensure that these people don't do any negative bullshit, and it all works out. That's why I'm not a big advocate of peaceful parenting.
Agreed. Oh, dude, I've seen so much stuff on that too recently. People are going off about it or whatever. Like, how dare you? Like, I just don't understand the idea of like reasoning with a child. Like after having the experience, like, whenever I was before I became a parent, I had the idea of like, yeah, maybe I can teach him, and then he'll do the right things or whatever, and everything will be fine. But then arguing with the child about having to put their freaking shoes on whenever we got to walk outside into the freaking there's no point. Like, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you what you're going to do. Like, you are going to put your shoes on, whether you like it or not. It's not a negotiation anymore.
To reason with a child is the same as trying to reason with a woman. They don't operate in the realm of logic and reason. So, like, this is a lost cause. You have
I never noticed.
You have to speak the language that they understand.
Like, we are putting our shoes on. Like, it's like yo.
Did you see that video of like basically it's like a mom trying to be like peaceful and calm and reason with the kid and tell him to do something, and then the dad just like snaps and they do it. Or like there was one like where the dad just looked at the kid and all of a sudden he's like, yep, straightens up and does exactly what he was supposed to. Dad didn't even have to say anything. Like that was how we were when the kids were little. Like Stephanie would be telling them to do something. I'd walk in the room and just snap. And all of a sudden everybody is like now doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Like there's the a healthy mix of fear and respect is what I want for my parenting. Like that's my parenting style, is a healthy mix of fear and respect.
Yeah, the problem is when they turn 18, then you don't get the fear anymore as much as you should.
That's because you've got
for a lot of kids that starts around 15 too.
You need to lift more, Steve. You got to be physically intimidating. Like Sean is bigger than me, but he knows I'll still beat his ass if I need to.
Yeah, I'll just kick him in the nuts.
That's endangering your future grandchildren, though.
That's okay. They can adopt.
The grandchildren are the best because you get to have them for as long as you want them, and then get them all worked up, and then give them back.
Yeah. Oh, I plan.
You've got a good advantage right now, Steve. The whole left side of your body is not even a target. You just shield that, man. He can punch all day long. Come around with the right, bam, you're good.
just taking dead blows on the left, like yeah, all right. Wearing stuff down, and bam.
That would have worked about a week ago, but I'm healed up. So.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, my eye's still a little wonky, but everything else is healed up. I have feeling again in my face.
I'm glad you're on the mend.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I have not, Carlos. I think that I'm gonna watch the. I think Aaron McIntyre has an episode on it. I'm gonna watch that episode of him discussing it, and then read through it. But yeah, Yarvin's got more to say. Like, who's really surprised, especially the way he's saying it, because it's almost like, I don't know, like the first couple times I read those articles or whatever, I was kind of interested, and then now it seems like he's just like, yeah, so kind of like the Democrats are kind of winning, and there's not really much Trump can do regardless of if he wins this election. Is what I gather.
See, Yarvin getting a girlfriend was like the worst thing ever. He needed to stay single and focused. He got him like a lefty girlfriend or whatever, and now he's kind of lost focus. Because just a couple years ago, he was like deep into like the New Right with the Vance, Peter Thiel, like all of that group. And since getting into a serious relationship, all of that's kind of fallen off a bit. And yeah, women ruin everything.
Yeah, why can't it be just men? Just men. God, that'd be great. Stewie Griffin back in the day, like, oh, we're looking for different schools. And I was like, oh, it's the Navy school. Yeah, out on a boat for weeks at a time with just men. All men. Like, oh, that sounds great. Or no. He's like, man, why do why do we even need women? Couldn't it just all be men? I'm like, oh, that's what being gay is. I'm like, that's what being gay is? Well, that sounds great. Oh, there's so many Stewie being a homo lines. It's easy to get him confused. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, it's supposed to be my special skill. Is cartoon.
I wish Justin would have made that intro that I asked him to make.
All right. Banana intro. I'll work on it.
Yeah, right.
I gotta make that. Look, I get busy with stuff and then I forget, and then I move on with life. If it doesn't happen pretty quick, then I just.
Where's that video I posted in the Signal chat today? We gotta end with that.
What video in the Signal chat?
Yeah.
If it's not in the, it's not in the messages.
I'll put it in this chat here. Right. There
Yeah,
you go.
Not in the
Right
Twitter
there.
chat. I don't use it.
If we make an exception for you, then we have to make an exception for Clyde.
Right, and if we start making exceptions for Clyde, he'll actually come back to the show just so that he can be like, "Hey, I put that in the Signal chat."
It's in the Signal private chat, or it's in the whatever we're on.
StreamYard chat.
StreamYard chat. There you go. It's the one where I said Clyde every morning.
Oh, this dude looks unhinged. This will be fun.
You think? He's the Kamala voter, that's for sure.
Sure.
I am straight. I'm not gay. Not gay. I'm straight, and I like women, and women only.
I gotta go grab some dipping. Peace.
Nothing wrong with being gay, but I'm not.
Dag's not trying to be gay.
Dag had to leave right away. I wonder why.
he's like, I'm not trying to be gay.
Oh my gosh, this poor guy.
That is definitely the face of a
Very homosexual male.
yeah. That dude is totally straight. Absolutely, sure. We believe you, man. You can just keep screaming it into the void. We will believe you if you just keep screaming it into the void. Gosh, I mean,
I kind of feel sorry for him.
You know, imagine he actually is straight though, and he the reason he's doing this TikTok is because he went into a gay bar, and then I had all these dudes hit on him for some reason.
Like accidentally went to a gay bar, and now he's like,
accidentally, huh?
I'm straight. Like, fuck that. Whatever. I'll go to a gay bar and let dudes buy me drinks. Have you seen how much drinks cost these days at a bar? If a gay dude wants to buy me drinks, we can play this game all night. I'll do the dance, and I'll do you. I have plenty of experience from my time dating. I have plenty of experience from my time dating that I know how to do the thing women do, where they let you buy drinks all night and talk nice to you, and then bail out at the end of the night. See, I can learn. I'm
adaptable.
Yes, I'm adaptable.
Improvise.
Adapt. Oh, yeah. I know I've talked about it before. We went to when I was in college. I would go to drama club parties with a buddy that I graduated high school with. I'd go to Western and go to drama club parties because a drama club party is pretty much all gay dudes and then a whole bunch of straight chicks who are not getting any attention paid to them whatsoever. So if you're the straight dude showing up to a drama club party, now all the females are like, "Oh, you're the straight guy." And I was like, "That's me. I'm the straight guy. Welcome to the party, ladies." So when I was at Murray, a few of my fraternity brothers were at our house hanging out and drinking, and they were annoying the fuck out of me. I was like, I gotta get these bitches out of the house. I'm about to fucking kill everybody. So I start texting around all of our brothers, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on tonight? Where's the party? Like, I gotta get these idiots out of the house." And our gay fraternity brother texted back and said, "There's a drama club party at the Commons." I was like, "In the truck now. We're going to the Commons." And they're like, "What? We're not going to a drama club party with a bunch of gay dudes." I was like, "All right. None of the gay dudes at this party have any interest in your redneck asses at all. I promise you." The key to this drama club party is there are a bunch of half naked, if not completely naked females over there who are not getting any attention paid to them whatsoever. So get in the fucking truck. And all three of those guys ended up getting married like 2 or 3 months later. And we just don't talk about the drama club party. It was a good time was had by everybody. See, there can be fun had with gay dudes.
Justin is the ultimate wingman. Like that's what I'm hearing here.
Yes, you got to go where the women are and understand how to play the game.
You play to win the game.
You got to fish where the fish are, man.
Exactly. How do people not understand this?
I don't know. I mean, I've been out of the fishing game for a long time, but still remember that part.
I wonder what guy's gonna go fishing.
I was like, speaking of fishing.
I had to go.
Speaking of fishing, women.
What guy's gonna?
Oh my God! One of you, please. Oh my God. Oh,
if they all had one of those, it would make it so much easier. Then you don't get like the mixed signals and stuff. It's just like, all right,
like green light.
Yes or no, yes or no.
Green light, red light.
That would, if all of them had one of those, then you would never have any like miscommunications or mixed signals or wondering. Just don't give them the yellow. Then that fucks everything because they just leave it on yellow all the time.
Yeah,
just like yellow.
They're just yeah.
Speaking of doing a little fishing, do we want to talk about Steve's favorite new classification of female?
Am I right to say that there's a breed of conservatives? I think I'm one of them. I'm not religious, though I have no issue with those that are. I am pro-gay rights because I feel like you should be able to love
Not a
who you love.
conservative.
If you want to do your 420 stuff, by all means, go for it. As far as women controlling their own bodies, I feel like for the most part, up until a certain point, they should have that right. I don't want men in the women's bathrooms. I don't want my daughters facing off against boys in sports. If you want to take a poke in the arm, by all means, go for it. Just don't make me do it. I am pro 2A. We love our pew-pews in this house. As far as border security is concerned, I think there needs to be a tight border, but I also think there needs to be an easier way to citizenship for those that are law-abiding, that is. I am pro school choice. I think that should be left into the hands of the parents. Parents need to be in control of their kids' health care. If you are a transgender adult, I have zero issue with that, but leave the kids alone. Mental health is an epidemic and it needs to be addressed. For the most part, I am very live and let live. If this resonates with you, comment and tell me where you're from. We are in Missouri.
She is probably
she was a Democrat voter up until this election. Guaranteed.
She is probably 100%. What you would call a very moderate libertarian. Like a lot of her positions are not conservative. It's more of the normie libertarian type of a position on stuff. So,
I'm just gonna bite my tongue for a little bit. Go on, gentlemen.
I mean, am I wrong? Like,
no, you're not wrong. I'm just keeping my comments to myself.
Well, that's like she thinks she's conservative, and that's fine as long as she votes for the right people. Then cool. But like I said in a chat that we're both part of, those type of people are the new useful idiots. They think they're conservative. They'll vote for the right people, keep them around, keep them happy, keep them voting for the right people. Don't give them any responsibility. Don't give them any authority outside of you show up and vote for the right people when you're called to show up and vote for the right people. The left has understood how to utilize these types of morons for a long time. Most people who vote for the Democrats don't actually believe in all of the extreme progressivism that the left pushes and believes in, but they believe in a very run-of-the-mill, like people should be treated like people, and we all have basic human rights, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. So they vote for the left because they think the left believes in that stuff. If these people who call themselves the new conservative believe all of that stuff, and they think that that's what conservatism is, and they vote for the right people, then keep them happy and use them. The only reason that people like her think that they're now conservative is because the left has gone so far and pushed their radicalism so far that now they have stopped believing that they represent them on this side, and now they think that they have moved to this other side when they haven't moved at all. Just that party has gone so far that now it's left them feeling without a place. It's the useful idiot. And like I said, the job of utilizing them. The right, on the other hand, will demonize them and tell them that they're not really conservatives and run them off, instead of using them the right way as useful fucking idiots. There's understanding how to play the game is the most important part of the game.
Yes, it is.
You know, every single group needs that guy or woman who's going to be a helpful retard.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.